Hello, mathematicians. Welcome to another math lesson with me, Miss Taylor. I'm glad you're here. All right, let's see if we are ready for math. Do we have our fact practice packet? Got mine right here. Do we have our textbook? Got my textbook here. Workbook, check. Paper, whiteboard, pencil, and you might also need your place value chart. We are not going to use our place value chart today, but we're going to use it tomorrow. So let's go ahead and look at what we're going to do today. We have our fact practice. Then we're going to look in our textbook just a little bit today. We're going to practice a little bit with mental math today. And then we're going to do some practice problems. And then we have our workbook to do. And we're going to submit our photos for homework. All right, so let's get started on our fact practice. This is on page 8 for today. We're working on page 8, and we are in our fact practice packet number 2, which looks like this. All right, and remember our goal for one page is to finish this in 1 or 2 minutes. If 1 or 2 minutes is not very challenging for you, try 30 seconds. All right, so today we are practicing some subtraction, and we know that when we're practicing subtraction, we're starting with the whole number. So it's kind of like thinking about here's our whole number, 5 is one of the parts, and we're trying to find what is the missing part. So anytime we subtract, we always start with the whole number, we subtract one of the parts, and then our answer is the missing part. So if 5 is one of our parts, we're trying to figure out the other part. Now, we can definitely subtract to get our answer. I often like to think of the inverse operation. I like to think about adding to help me get the answer. So if I see one part is a 5, I like to think about what do I need to get up to the whole number, to get up to 13. And I know 5 and 5 gets me up to 10, and then I would have 3 more. So that would be 8. Okay, so when you were working on your fact practice page for today, I would encourage you to think about how you can use addition to help you with subtraction. Subtraction to help you with addition. They work together. They're opposites, inverse operations. So when you see 12 minus 7, you can think about, well, 7 plus what gets me up to 12? And let's see, we know 7 plus 3 gets us up to 10, and then we need 2 more. All right, so might be a good idea to time yourself, see if you can finish this in 30 seconds or 1 minute or maybe 2 minutes. All right, so go ahead and pause the video if you want to do this right now. Pause. Or you can do this when we finish, or maybe some of you already finished. Alrighty, so let's see, today, actually, instead of looking at our textbook right away, we're going to do a little bit of practice with mental math. And then there's a little bit of practice in our textbook. But today we are going to practice the strategy of adding ones and tens mentally. In other words, just using our brains. And then tomorrow we're going to talk about how to use the vertical algorithm to do some adding with some renaming. So you've heard me mention this a couple times, but for today, we're just going to kind of take a step back and do a little bit of practice with mental math. So for example, if you saw a problem like this, 7 plus 5. Now there's a few different ways that we could find the answer. Think about how does your brain figure this one out? So some of you might be thinking, well, when I see 7 plus 5, I like to think of the 7 as a 5 and a 2. I kind of split the 7 into a 5 and a 2, and then I know 5 plus 5 is 10, and 2 more is 12. Okay, that's one way to do it. Some of you, when you see 7 plus 5, you might think about, oh, when I see 7 plus 5, then I just grab 3 from over here. So instead of breaking apart the 7, I like to kind of break apart the 5. And then I see 7 plus 3 makes 10, and then 2 more is 12. Okay. So maybe you could just sort of think about what does your brain like to kind of imagine or break apart numbers to help you solve the problem or get the answer? Because there's a lot of different ways to do it. But one thing that we can do is use these kind of problems to solve more difficult problems. So if we know 7 plus 5 is 12, what about if we saw this one? It's a little bit harder. 67 plus 5. Now again, we just thought about 7 plus 5, and we thought, well, we know 7 plus 5 is 12. So if we know 7 plus 5 is 12, what about 67 plus 5? Yeah, we can think about this number as 60, and we could do it this way. We could think about this number as a 60 and a 7. And then we already know that 7 plus 5 is 12. So there's our 12. Then we have 60 plus 12. Let's see, 60 plus 10 would be 70, and 2 more, 72. All right. So that is one strategy that we can use. Now, what about if we knew this one? Now, let's see. Let me write over here what we've already solved. We've solved 7 plus 5 equals 12. Then we solved 67 plus 5 equals 72. Let's see, is that right? 7 plus 5, we said that was 12. And then this would just be like 12 plus 60, 72. What about this one? Eeks. 367 plus 5. Well, we know that 6 plus 5 is 12. So we could think about, well, let's break this number apart. This number is made of a 300, a 60, and 7 ones, right? We already know 7 plus 5 is 12. We also know 60 plus 12 is 72, right? We solved that over here. So now we're just adding a 300, just adding in the hundreds place. So 360 plus 12, 372. Let's see, do we see a pattern there? This one was 12, and this one was 72, and this was 372, because the problem we solved here was already right here. So really, we just added a 300 in front of it. All right. So in our textbooks, let's see, in our textbooks for today, on page 39, and we're going to actually wait on page 39. We're going to talk about this tomorrow, addition with renaming. But on the next page, there are some questions for us to practice with right here. So right here, number 1, we have some mental math practice. So let's do one more of these together. So this is on page 40 in our textbooks. So we're just going to do a couple of these to practice. So they have 4 plus 9, and then they have another one that says 40 plus 90, and then they have, well, let's do these first. Okay, so we have 4 plus 9. So when we see 4 plus 9, it might be a good idea. One way to solve it would be to think of our 4 as a 1 and a 3, because then we can grab one from over here and make a 10. So this is our 10 plus 3. That gets us to 13. Okay. And then if we know 4, this is kind of like 4 ones plus 9 ones equals 13 ones, then this we can just think about as 4 tens. 40 is the same as 4 tens. 90 is the same as 9 tens. So our answer would be 13 tens. So 4 tens plus 9 tens equals 13 tens. Actually, I better write that down here. 4 tens plus 9 tens equals 13 tens, but how do we write 13 tens? Because this would just be 13 ones. Yeah, we add a 0. This is 13 tens. So again, that would be like having 13 of these. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 10 tens, and we know 10 tens is 100. And then we need 3 more. Let's just check. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120, 130. We got it right there. So if you're adding a 10, if you're adding tens, you can use this fact with the ones to help you. We just have to add a 0. All right. Nice work, students. So your homework for today is to do a little bit of practice with that mental math strategy, kind of like making tens, making a 10. And our homework for today on page 46 is right here. So your homework for today, just one page, and thinking about how you can use the strategy of making a 10 and also thinking about using the ones fact to help you add the tens and the hundreds. So if you know 7 plus 6, well, I'm really good at my doubles facts. I know 6 plus 6 is 12. So 7 plus 6 is going to be 13. So if we know 7 plus 6 is 13, 27 plus 6, they're just adding a 20. Do you see how that fact is the same? In fact, if you covered it up, it's all the same except for the tens and then the hundreds. So with that one, you could say, let's see, we could do that one together. If we know 7 plus 6 is 13, because 6 plus 6 is 12, so 7 plus 6 is going to be one more. Then 27 plus 6, now all we're doing is adding the 20 to this answer because we've already figured this one out. We know this is 13. So we can think, well, 20 plus 13 equals 33. And then the next one, ooh, they're adding a 500 in front of it. But wait a second, we've already solved this. I already know this one is right here. This is 33. So then all I have to add is the 5 in front of it. 533. Okay, so sort of using that strategy of making a 10 and then also thinking about using some of the easier facts to help us with these harder ones and thinking about our place values to help. So homework is just one page for today, page 46. And we're going to practice doing some mental math. And then tomorrow we're going to start some renaming and regrouping. So that'll be fun. All right. So students, have a wonderful rest of the day and I will see you again soon.